everyone, welcome to this very special episode of Chalo Numbers Samjhe. आज आप देख ही पा रहे हो हम बहुत ही सुंदर लोकेशन पे बैठे हैं and actually what happened was I am on a Europe trip and I was lucky enough to meet a couple of people who are based out of Europe, who are based out of Netherlands, and so हमने सोचा let's try and understand their life. They've done their masters from this country, so we thought let's understand their life, let's understand their numbers, and try to understand how they have gone about taking a lot of major life decisions using these numbers. So I hope you're ready. I hope you're excited. And yes, if you want us to create more such content, please do let me know in the comments. See you. Hello and welcome everyone to yet another episode of Chalo Numbers Samjhe. Real log, real money, real decisions. क्यों? क्योंकि numbers कभी झूठ नहीं बोलते. Can I start?
Scene 1, take 1, lights, camera, action.
शाबाश. Hi, welcome. तो as you all know, हम एक सीरीज चलाते हैं चलो नंबर्स समझे करके अपने YouTube चैनल पे. एंड सिंस हम लोग अपनी एक यूरोपियन वेकेशन पे हैं, फोक्स क्विक बैकग्राउंड, हम एक यूरोप ट्रिप पे आए हुए हैं. आयुष, नयन एंड शानू, ये तीनों यूरोप में ही रहते हैं. दे आर स्टेइंग इन नीदरलैंड्स एंड ये हमें अराउंड द यूरोप ट्रिप लेके आ रहे हैं. वी आर करेंटली राइट नाउ इन फ्रांस स्विट्जरलैंड के बॉर्डर पर ऑन अ प्लेस कॉल्ड मैक्सिली सुर लेमान. दिस इज लेक लेमान. करेक्ट. सो उस पे आई बिलीव ये नाम दिया गया है. एंड so what we thought was we'll quickly do a conversation with them as to how their life is in Netherlands. I think we'll have to share the mic once again. Next episode में हमें mic change कराना पड़ेगा, but अभी के लिए we'll have to share. So I'll pass on the mic. जो बोल रहा होगा मेरे से mic ले लेना. And so let's talk about your life in general in Europe, in Netherlands, since all three of you are based out of there. And actually we want to understand how fun is it to live in Europe, number one. Number two, since we talk about finance, since we talk about money, we want to understand from you guys ki is it financially a wise decision to stay in Europe, considering the amount that you earn, but also considering the kind of taxes you pay, the kind of expenses you have, the kind of lifestyle inflation that you have, or you know, in general, the lifestyle expenses you have. So that's going to be the
sacrifices we make,
or the sacrifices you make, right? And obviously, so this is an open conversation, so we don't have to make it sound like an interview, but it's more like कोई कुछ भी कह सकता है. तो I know तुम लोग को सबको शानू की लेक्चर करने का मजा आता है, तो please continue doing that, so that we can make some fun and have some fun, right? So you guys want to start with a quick
and just to give it more energy and more background to the audience, ये तीनों actually different landscape में currently placed हैं. तो Aayush has taken a Netherlands Dutch passport, Shanu has taken a PR which is not a residentship, and Nayan is on the verge of deciding either to go back or stay here and what to do next. So actually in तीनों का use case बहुत different है. So the questions you're going to answer and the answers the audience will get can relate to all three different use cases.
Actually, very nice point. Thank you to add that. Thank you for adding that, Nalan. So also, folks, Nalan is going to be my co-host for this episode. So I know you must have seen him around in other videos. So yes, he's going to be my co-host for this episode, where we're going to now ask all questions to all three of these guys. So you want to start with your intros, quick intros, maybe?
Shanu.
Shanu the boy.
We start with Shanu.
Shanu the guy.
Sean.
Acha, हाँ, by the way, do you want to start with this? I'm Shanu for Indians, Sean for
Only for girls.
No, but jokes aside, I'm Shanu. I met Akshat about 3 or 4 days ago, and since then I have been thinking to probably pursue a career as Uber driver. But I came to the Netherlands about 8.5 years ago, अपना मास्टर्स परस्यू करने, और फिर 1.5 साल में फाइनेंस मास्टर्स इन फाइनेंस ख़त्म किया. उसके बाद did a few internships, then worked for a while for a bank in the Netherlands, and now I'm working in an electric bicycle company in the Netherlands as their head of finance for the European division. So a lot of different industries, different experiences, a lot of different set of people, different managers. So the experience so far has been very enriching, और बीच बीच में थोड़ा टाइम मिलता है तो I love to meet people like Akshat and Nalin, and also the one and only Karishma, Tamanna, and Kashmira. So yeah, right now we are in Switzerland, enjoying the vibe of the people, of the country, of the food, and the environment overall. And
Nice.
let's see how the journey goes from here. Now, Nayan,
Aayush.
Aayush.
Maybe.
Sure. So, like Nalin explained, my name is Aayush. Similar journey like Shanu, 8.5 years here in Netherlands, a bit around, yeah, similar 8.5 years. I came here to do my master's in business administration, so MBA, from a private university in Netherlands. Thought to be a good decision, but of course there are cons always. So it was a hell of a journey, like doing a lot of things. I mean, it's a very much contrast when you look from an Indian student perspective. Everything rolls onto your sleeves. You have to do everything almost by yourselves. No help in terms of kitchen, in terms of house help, in terms of everything you can imagine. You have to do by your own. So that's just a quick background. Anyways, jumping back, 8.5 years in Netherlands. Came here to do my MBA. Went back immediately home after MBA. I was not sure if I want to live here, continue my life in Netherlands.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah, I went back for 6 months, but then I thought, okay, I have spent quite some time in Netherlands, so why not just try how the work goes there. I've seen the student life only, so then I came back again after 6 months. So there's a visa called as a job search visa or orientation year visa. You can take that if you have studied a master program in Netherlands. So I applied for that, I got that, and then I came back to the Netherlands after 6 months. And then I was looking for a job, and then I landed a job in a bank, like Shanu. So it's a Spanish bank. Since then, I'm working in the same bank.
Wow.
It's been a little bit more than 6.5 years. So I'm working in the same bank. Really like the bank, the vibe, the managers, my colleagues. That's why pretty much I'm stuck there, a little bit in the comfort zone. But yeah. So what I'm doing right now is business development. So business development meaning like pre-sales or strategizing how 6 months or the next 1 year.
We need a lot of help with business development.
Yeah, exactly. So the next 6 months or 1 year could unfold. And then of course client conversions and taking care of the clients, onboarding, similar activities. Of course we dig into the details a bit later on. So that is a bit about me. Last year, recently, like Nalin explained, I took my Dutch citizenship. So after contemplating if I should take the direction or not, it has a lot of perks. Of course, everything has both the sides, goods and bad. But I finally took a call which I had to
Was it
take.
a tough decision?
It was a tough decision indeed, especially. So once you are in your own country, you don't realize often how good your country is or what good things your country also offers you. We only maybe sometimes look at the bad sides. Okay, it's a bit dirty, populated, polluted, but it also has some lifestyle benefits as well. Again, we come to this topic again after we have a quick intro of each and everybody. Yeah, so it was a tough decision because I was already eligible after 5.5 years, but I took a bit more. I elongated a bit more because I was not sure. And then finally last year I decided and applied and got my Dutch passport. Only for one good sake, and of course there are lots others as well, but the one big sake was I could have a mobility around the globe. So that's my take on
I think you was telling me it gives you access to about visa-free access to
Yeah.
about 100 and
189 around 189 countries,
my goodness.
plus and minus. This year's index I haven't checked, so sorry for the numbers if
almost
maybe wrong.
like what?
Yeah.
70%.
Yeah. Oh no, almost 90%.
90%,
Yeah. More than
India
80, yeah.
only has 53 countries.
Yeah, visa on arrival or something. Yeah, so a lot. So in terms of mobility, you just name it, they have it, and you just reach there. So that's about it. Working since then, still working in the same bank, same role, just growing within the role a bit. That's it. That's my journey. Living in Amsterdam, in Netherlands.
And I know then we've got a lot more going on with your life, with way too many things that you're
Yeah.
on to right now. So maybe we'll come back to that once we have Nayan's introduction.
Yeah, I like trying one new thing per year. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
that's the thing. I'll explain that as well. Okay. Now passing on to.
Okay, so my name is Nayan. I'm actually Nalin's brother and close friend of Akshat as well. We have known each other for a long time. I came to the Netherlands 1 year after these two, Aayush and Shanu, came here. And me and Shanu have also actually done our BTech together, so we know each other for a long time. And I actually knew that Shanu will be going to the Netherlands via a program which we came through SPGen. And before that, I was working at a highway project in Odisha, in India, close to the place where Aayush actually lives. And I wanted a route out of that as well, because it was in a very remote location. So I was actually figuring out what kind of jobs would be available for me in India, being a civil engineer working in a remote location for a highway project. And that's how what came to my mind is the program via which we actually came to the Netherlands, is via SPJMR Global Management Program. And the thought of Shanu being there, so it suddenly struck my mind, and that's how I came here 1 year after these guys came. And actually via Shanu I met Aayush, so that's also a mutual connection that all three of us have. Life here in the Netherlands have been quite wonderful, to be honest, since the last 7-8 years. I also work in the field of finance, currently working at Deloitte as a finance business partner. And before Deloitte, I was working at Fanorth, which is a Dutch, family-owned Dutch company which builds offshore winds in the North Sea and all across the globe, and does dredging project. So that's a bit about me. I live in Den Bosch, which is I think it's the beautiful. It's one of the.
Nobody knows. Nobody wants to know that.
I think I'll let the audience decide that after they know where Shanu lives.
Guys, please check Den Bosch.
Please check Den Bosch. No, I think it's one of the beautiful cities in Netherlands. It's much more in the south. So yeah, that's a bit about me.
Cool. Thank you guys for your introductions. I know setup change हो चुका है, but हमें करना पड़ा क्योंकि sunset हो चुका था, and फिर हमने सोचा dinner विनर करके अब एक ही बार में बैठते हैं. तो अब I think is a good mood to have some deeper conversations. So thank you for the for your introductions. But let's deep dive in. तो I think मुद्दे की बात ये है कि first of all, how does one decide today to come to Europe versus US versus all the other countries that one has an option of, and what are first of all the parameters जिसके ऊपर ये decision लिया जाता है? Obviously, I'm sure finances is one of those parameters, but there could be multiple other parameters as well. So as much as we want you all to share कि finances वाला parameter कितना strong है, we would also want you all to give us some other perspectives on कैसे ऐसे बाकी emotional angles and family well-being, so on and so forth आप लोग देखते हो, right? So you told us about your MBA. So all three of you are a passer of Nijrode University, which is in Netherlands, and post that you had your internships, your jobs. The first question that I have is, as soon as so you all passed out in 2019, 2020?
Yeah.
Correct. What was the fees that you paid at that point of time, and what was your salary expectation at that point of time, and then how have you seen that entire ecosystem evolve over the period of the last 5-6 years? So if you can share something around that.
Shall I?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So when I decided to do this master's, I think it was back in 2018. At that point of time, I think I was earning in India around 20,000 INR.
But was that a full-time job or was
It
it
was a full-time job
Okay.
in Odisha. It was proper site engineer.
So you'd
job
done
on
your
a-
BTech?
I did my BTech in civil engineering, and then I went for an off-campus placement. That was, I think, with a gap of 1 or 2 months post-graduation. And then I went on to a full-time job on a highway project as a site engineer. And I think I got a roughly package of 2,40,000, which is roughly 20,000 per month.
So maybe digressing from my previous question a bit, but was the decision of doing an MBA more because you were earning 20,000 rupees and that's why you wanted कि यार ज़्यादा कमाना है 20,000 से कुछ नहीं होने वाला, or was it कि यार नहीं MBA करना चाहिए, longer
Nahin.
perspectives?
I think for me, I wanted to get out of that place. Since I was a civil engineer, I didn't have an on-site placement. Getting those 20,000 per month was also a good thing for me, at least at that point of time. But in my eyes, it was not something which I can continue. Maybe that 20,000, from a civil engineer's perspective, I think experience, once you get more experience, your package increases, but then it takes years of experience. So I think I could have put on more, at least 5 to 10 years as a civil engineer, and my salary would have increased from 20,000 to 60,000, maybe to 80,000, but it would have taken 5 to 10 years of my life.
Right. वो linear progression रहता,
Exactly.
exponential curve नहीं
And
मिलता.
then I was comparing myself to my other friends who were maybe from a computer science background or an IT background who were getting at least 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs campus placement as a starting job. So I was
This is
comparing
per annum.
per annum,
Ah.
and then 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs, it's still more than 20,000 per
Ah,
month.
ah, ah.
But we were quite young, and I come from a family in which, I mean, touch wood, we are well settled in terms from a financial means. So there's no one who is dependent on me. But still, I was thinking from my own personal
But,
future.
but were you aware of this fact back when you were earning 20,000?
Yeah, for sure.
कि घर पे पैसा नहीं भेजना पड़ेगा ये
Yeah,
वो?
I was aware in my mind at least,
Okay.
as an individual, ki, even if I have to take certain risks, I think I have a certain ecosystem that will allow me to fail or to take certain risks or to take a step up as well. And the only step up which came to my mind was a post grad or a one education up than civil engineering. Either I could have gone and pursued my masters in civil engineering, keeping the same track, or go for a proper business administration course. But I also knew something about myself that I didn't had that much mental space or personal space that I would sit down, study for CAT exams or study for GATE exams to, pursue a very strict masters in India. So somehow I was looking for an easy gateway, let's say. And then came this GMP course of SPJMR because I had already given my GRE back when I was doing my undergrad, and that score was valid. So it was a very easy gateway that I had to do certain
अच्छा,
interviews.
so when you gave your GRE, you hadn't really
No.
thought about it. GRE
So I
दे दिया
did, मैंने अपना GRE दे दिया था जब मैं second या third year of my BTech था.
था. Oh. GRE is
Just
valid for 5
valid for 5 years, just for the fact कि अगर क्या बोलते हैं आगे चल के यूएस जाना पड़े, उस समय बस ये पता था कि बाहर जाना है तो सर्टेन एग्जाम्स तो देने ही पड़ेंगे. सुनने में ये आता था इफ़ यू वांट टू गो टू यूके आइल्स माइट बी इम्पोर्टेंट और कनाडा, इफ़ यू वांट टू गो टू यूएस फॉर अ मास्टर्स जीआरई तो लगेगा और एमबीए प्रॉपर के लिए जीमैट लगेगा. तो मैंने सोचा कि मे बी अ मास्टर्स इन सिविल इंजीनियरिंग विल बी हेल्पफुल फॉर मी इफ आई गो अब्रॉड. उस समय ये नहीं पता था कि सिविल इंजीनियरिंग का चैप्टर वहीं खत्म हो जाएगा अंडरग्रेड. तो मैंने सोचा जीआरई दे के रखो एंड देन बस दे के रखो, let's see what it brings. And I didn't know that GRE score will actually help me
Lead me to SPJN.
Exactly. तो उस समय पे SPJN ने वो admit किया, accept किया for their program, and it was very helpful for me.
So SPJN was, you went through SPJN, you also went through SPJN. You did
No.
directly.
Yeah.
You did it directly through, you applied to Nine Road.
Not as lucky as these guys to be aware of this program via SPGMR. So I had applied directly. Yeah.
So अच्छा वैसे how's the economics, मतलब SPJN के through सस्ता पड़ता है या direct,
SPJN के through सस्ता पड़ता है.
which is the
As far as
tuition
I-
fee?
Yeah, the main cost, the tuition fee.
And how much is the tuition fee?
I think if you go for the complete direct admission as which Aayush did, but also Aayush did an MBA and we did a master's. And I think master's clay, if you come to Nine Roda directly, I think the total cost is around 25 to 30,000 euros, Shanu.
Now 28,
Yeah,
27,000.
and for us it was 12,000 tuition fees that we paid directly when we first came to the
Oh wow,
Netherlands.
that's a massive difference.
12,
So
yeah,
I think
but-
that's a
Sorry, how much
great
did you pay?
12,000
Ah,
euros.
that's a great lesson for our चलो नंबर समझे कि आप ये कह रहे हो अगर हम डायरेक्टली अप्लाई करते हैं तो 30,000 यूरोस लगेंगे मोटा मोटी रफली, एंड अगर हम वाया एसपीजेन आते हैं तो हमें 12,000 यूरोस में
Netherlands में, but आप SPJN में भी fees दोगे because the first 6 months which you would actually do
Study in
in Netherlands,
SPJN.
if you take the direct admissions, you do it in Mumbai at SPJN campus, and I think that's roughly around 5 lakh to 8 lakh range, your tuition fees plus your hostel accommodation, which is around 5 to 8,000 euros in today's
So-
exchange rate.
So then your total cost becomes 12,000 euros plus the
Plus-
5-8 lakhs.
Exactly.
Which is about 18,000 euros.
Yeah.
Mota moti.
Yeah.
So that's still about 40% saving, right?
Yeah.
And what's the difference? So maybe you can answer this question ki, or maybe all of you can also pitch in ki, what's the difference between doing the first 6 months in SPJN versus doing the entire course in Nine Road?
So I think for the first 6 months, these guys are better positioned to answer that. But I think what you do when you start a course from the beginning with the entire batch is that you can integrate pretty well. You can make good friends. You know everyone, each other from the beginning of the day, or maybe a couple of days even earlier. Because what happens is you connect based on where you are coming from. Everyone comes from abroad. Everyone is willing to come to this country, relocate. And then suddenly what happens after a couple of months, there are a few bunch of people joining in the middle of the entire course. So that becomes a little bit challenging for people to integrate slowly, and then it's like the connections are a little bit built around. We already have friends, so that was also a bit. I was like, wow. Few of the students don't even know that okay, there's such kind of an exchange between this university and a university
Obviously.
in India.
I remember that we did our engineering from JP, and our college had a exchange program with University of Florida, right?
Yeah.
Florida. और पता नहीं था यार, मतलब पता नहीं मतलब 4th year में
पता भी नहीं था, और उस समय यार मतलब पैसे भी नहीं थे, सही बताऊं.
Correct, वही होता है.
देखो पैसे तो सेकंडरी में मैं कहता हूँ पहले पता तो
Awareness
अवेयरनेस नहीं थी. आई डोंट नो, आई वाज स्टूपिड ऑफ अस, बट या
Same, exactly, because मैं direct admission लिया, and I've neither the university informed me. There was nothing mentioned in the course that after a couple of months या 3 हफ्ते बाद या 3 महीने या 4 महीने बाद bunch of new people would join you and stay with you along the course.
along the हाँ.
ऐसा होता कि 1-2 महीने exchange के लिए आ रहे हैं, and then they are going back.
No, but then you did MBA, you did your masters, so why were you in the same batch?
No, he was a batch prior.
I was
हाँ,
together
no,
with
but what
Shanu.
I'm saying, हाँ, वो मैं समझ
So
गया,
it
but
depends
you
on the
was
experience. Again, it depends on the number of experience you already
But
have
did
in
you
India.
guys attend the same class?
No,
No.
No, okay.
not a single class was same.
Okay.
So he did masters, I did MBA.
So then
the
you
class
know,
were different.
yeah,
But at least the batch was, I mean, you can say that the batch, the intake batch was same. The intake batch
You
was
were in the
actually-
same set of those, all the students of that will pass out that year, but
Right.
obviously your classes were different.
So SP Jain as well, I think, correct me guys if I'm mistaken. So SP Jain has the same batch, the same course for the first 6 months. And then based on experience, you go either to do masters in Nayan or you do an MBA based on the experience you already have existing in India.
Okay.
So that's why lesser experience, little less experience, masters, more experience, you do an MBA. But I directly came to do my MBA.
Makes sense.
So yeah, that was a bit, to integrate is a bit challenging, and then of course people have their own set of clans, their own to do that.
But I think also what's an important point here is that he was not aware of the SPJN
Correct. Awareness
program,
was again a
and
thing. Yeah.
we had never heard of Nine Road as a university.
Yeah,
So we only got to know about Nine Road as once we got to know about the
Exactly.
GMP program at SPJMR. So that's also an
Such a
important
disconnect
point to
of
note, that first
information.
awareness is the main point.
Do you think this is by purpose? Like, could it be the universities does not want people like you to know, because obviously they're making double the money.
Would be really I don't know, would be very discreet or very good level of marketing for them to hide certain facts from me, or to hide certain facts from him, and what
Or
a great
could
level
be
of
poor
marketing they
research.
did. Yeah, exactly. Or could be the
Or I
poor
think
research
maybe
on our side.
depends on the marketing maybe as well, that in which countries do they go greenfield and project them as a university to come directly, and in which countries they have certain alliances which they have agreed upon that this is
Obviously.
the desired route.
Obviously.
And getting the students from India and China was at least in favor of the Western countries back in those days. And the good thing with such collaborations was that they don't have to rely on 1 or 2 or 3 students. They could get straight away 15 students in one batch. And then there also comes, let's say, the discounted price in place, that they can give easily discounts to 20 students at once. And in exchange they get a guarantee of cash from 20 students instead of cracking deals one by one.
Makes sense.
And that could be one of the things to tie up with universities, because you get things in bulk, just like
Yeah.
graduates work.
Obviously,
you get
obviously,
things in
yeah.
bulk. But when you sign up only one
They
student,
get more students.
when you sign up one student, you can give them scholarship, but of course that would be a bit less than what these guys get. So the number game is a game again.
Yeah,
it
makes
boils
sense.
down to the number.
Achha, and so quickly coming to, so you said you paid about 30,000 euros in total. You guys paid about 18,000-20,000 euros, and this is apart from the lifestyle expenses that you paid, right? This is just university fees. What was the salary expectation that you thought, ki, acha, post I graduate from the particular school, I will be at least able to earn this much? Did you guys actually think of something like that कि यार मैं इतने हम मम्मी पापा के पैसे लगवा रहे हैं, तो and I'm assuming कि सबने मम्मी पापा से थोड़ा कुछ ना कुछ लिया होगा, तो did you guys think कि यार इतना तो कमा ही लूँगा?
So the only idea I had, because I had an elder brother, बड़ा भाई था, जो सिंगापुर में already he was doing in masters, he did masters, and then he started with an job there as well. So the only idea was that the return on investment when you do a masters or an MBA in India, when compared to something which you do in when you do in an abroad country, or like let's say Western or a developed country, is a bit higher. So in India, for example, let's roughly calculate a private university fees as well as the living expenses. I think something around 20 lakhs, if I'm not mistaken, guys. Maybe we all take your numbers. 20 lakh would be a fair amount.
Yeah,
of,
but आजकल तो I think IIM वगैरह की भी upward
No,
of
so let's
25
compare
lakhs.
apple to apple. Like आप
Yeah.
SP Jain के through you went to Nine Road, it would be somewhere around tier 2, tier 2.5 kind of a college. It's not tier 1, right?
Mhm.
If you compare tier 2 colleges in India, they still, at that time, they would be charging around 12 to 18 lakhs.
12 to 18 lakhs. Okay.
So it was equivalent, moreover, from
Fair.
an expense
Fair.
point of view.
Okay, let's assume 12 to 13 lakhs would be a thing, and then it is for 2 years.
Yeah.
Again, which is a longer period, 2 years.
Yeah.
And then what you do is basically you calculate also the expenses around, no, the monthly expenses which
Obviously.
you would give to your kid or the student receives from your parents. Roughly 15k, 20k.
That is the game
that's a-
changer between studying abroad to
Yeah.
studying in here.
And then okay, let's
क्योंकि
do all.
एक्चुअली अगर इंडिया में आप अपनी सिटी में नहीं भी पढ़ रहे बट अगर आप
बाहर
दूसरी
भी
city में
पढ़ोगे
पढ़
तो
रहे
आपके एक्सपेंस
हो, तब भी हाँ 1 लाख रुपए नहीं लगेगा
Correct.
नहीं।
नहीं लगेगा, नहीं लगेगा.
मैक्स टू मैक्स 50 लगेगा
और
अगर
प्लस
बहुत ही
ये लोग यूरोप में तो ऑब्वियसली दैट टाइम आल्सो करंटली यूरोप एंड INR had a
Difference.
हाँ हाँ
Correct.
अच्छा by the
Lower
way
exchange.
quickly like what's the fees right now if somebody has to get admitted do you guys have any idea
So right now, I think MBA has a fees around 48,000 euros.
so 30 का 48
So no, my fees was 40,000
अच्छा
euros.
okay.
I got a scholarship.
oh nice
I got a scholarship.
Oh,
so
you
that's
didn't
why.
tell us that.
No, yeah. I mean,
so
maybe I missed
so
it.
then it was basically 18 versus 40 right
Yeah.
आपने
No, for
आपको-
MSc maybe it was a bit lesser. I don't know the fees exactly for masters.
you guys paid 18 right 18,000
in total.
Yeah.
But I think I have heard the number between 28 to 30,000
Correct. So there's a
For-
difference
for-
in fees.
for a direct admission in masters.
There is a difference in
With
fees for
the
masters
SP
and
Jain
MBA.
क्या है? With the SP Jain is the 12,000 plus. अभी आज की rate में,
As
because
of
where
today.
we are trying to go, like
we don't.
I don't have exact numbers, but
no worries,
maybe
we
the
can find out.
12,000 might have increased to 15,000. So it's the natural inflation sort
natural,
of.
हाँ.
उसमें कोई extra
you guys did it in 2018 19
20 Shanu did in 2018, I did in 2019.
okay and it was a 1 year course for you
2 years.
2
Total
years.
it's
SP
around
Jain
two.
Total
plus
it's around 6 months of
इस 2 years का क्या breakup होता है 6 months SP Jain
and 14 months in the Netherlands.
Netherlands.
and then your thesis is a part of this
Yeah.
Yes. Within 14 months.
within 14 months
उसमें
Whereas when you compare to my MBA,
हाँ.
direct 1 year done. You immediately look for a job or something.
हाँ, MBA globally it is
हाँ.
1 year program. In India
Whereas
it
in
is a
MSc,
2 year.
if you take MSc direct admission in masters, which these guys did, is 18 months again.
हाँ वो तो ठीक है. MBA globally for
So
Yeah.
generally you can keep masters is 2 year on a rough basis and MBA is 1 year.
because the difference, how they differentiate between a master's and MBA here is that MBA is at the moment positioned for people who actually have worked for at least 5 to 7 years in a corporate because they are looking for
Obviously.
certain experienced professionals. So
and उसका actually फायदा भी तभी होता है
yeah, you won't find people with, let's say, directly coming out from undergrad and going to an MBA at Nine Road or any European business school. So that's the distinction they make between.
but quickly salary expectation कितनी थी
मेरी तो जीरो, मेरे को पता भी नहीं था कि क्या बोलते हैं, क्या
Correct.
नंबर.
really
जॉब
Salary expectation नहीं था honestly. इतना पता था कि there's a reason going abroad. वो है कि return on investment would be much faster, better when compared to doing an MBA.
but कुछ तो आइडिया होगा यार कि मतलब हम 30-40 लाख रुपए
Honestly
लगा रहे हैं
नहीं
माँ बाप का
The thing is,
पहला तो था कि जॉब मिल जाए, let's survive.
Correct.
Honestly.
नहीं but see that
If
was
you want an honest
after
answer कि
हाँ.
ऐसा नहीं कि just because we have to
हाँ.
pretend or something, नहीं था. पहला कि because इंडिया में कैंपस प्लेसमेंट्स होते हैं.
हाँ
इंडिया में कैंपस प्लेसमेंट्स होते हैं और अब्रॉड में जितना हमने खुद एक्सपीरियंस किया और जितना सीनियर्स और फ्रेंड्स को रीच आउट किया है, कहीं कैंपस प्लेसमेंट नहीं होता. यू हैव टू हंट फॉर योर ओन जॉब.
हाँ.
लुक आउट बाय योरसेल्फ.
हाँ
And then it can vary a lot depending on the company, your experience, your exposure, your reachability, the way you approach. It's totally a game changer. अब इंडिया में क्या हो रहा है, कैंपस प्लेसमेंट आ रहा है, पता है सारे के सारे फ्रेशर हैं, डिपेंडिंग ऑन द यूनिवर्सिटी दे पिक tier 1 university, tier 2 university, and then they know this is the range which they have to give. But here it's your own talent, so no expectation. बस इतना पता था कि हमने पैसा लगाया, अच्छा खासा रिटर्न मिलता है when compared to India because there's no campus placement, and then of course the economies of scale, the cost of living, all those index is a bit higher when compared to India. So you can make some good return.
finally
I think वो वाला डिसीजन तो आपका बिफोर इवन थिंकिंग ऑफ गोइंग अब्रॉड तो वो माइंडसेट
Correct, वो बस वही था.
कैंपस प्लेसमेंट इज मोर ओवर इंडियाज ball of game. But I think you can do certain back calculations here because I think more or less in different forums you might read or hear that you should aim to get your entire tuition fees or recover your entire tuition fees within a span of 2 to 3 years. I mean that's the average which people in hindsight actually
अच्छा,
are able
but
to
is
do.
okay
वो north star है
but
वो हर किसी
that is your मतलब लेट मी पुट दैट वेरी क्रिस्टल क्लियर, राइट, कि अगर आपने 30,000 यूरोज लगाए हैं,
हाँ.
तो आर यू सेइंग यू शुड गेट अ पैकेज ऑफ 10,000 यूरोज for 3 years?
No, within 3 years, with your entire savings and life expenses
Okay.
here in the Netherlands,
sorry.
you should be able to recover that amount.
So you should be able to save 30,000
Correct.
euros
Exactly.
from the first 3 years of your salary.
Yeah, you should aim for that because that's what most people are able to do.
Okay.
So if I can, if I can add on what Nayan is trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong. So I think what he's trying to say is, if you're investing 30,000 euros, you will fully recover it in the first year. You
By
will.
salary.
By salary,
Yeah,
by means
by
of
salary.
your total salary. But then of course you have your,
Kharche,
maybe if you have taken your loans, okay, leave out the loans, but your lifestyle in terms of renting, in terms of your daily expenses, in terms of your going out, groceries, health insurance, medical bills, all of those components, if we add up, then you might not be able to save the amount which you invested. So then now if I understand Nayan correctly, he means to say ki
3 years mein
2.5 3 years you will be able to save, or at least get the
Create
entire money
that
invested,
same concept.
leaving your expenses what
Makes
you are
sense.
doing after your job.
makes sense. But quickly, what was your first salary post your post graduation?
Difficult, super difficult, but it was less.
मतलब 30,000 euros आपने लगाए after your scholarship.
Correct.
Was it the same?
It was near about like 25-30% more than what I invested.
Okay.
In the first year itself, I could generate what I invested.
Like,
but
yes, sir.
again,
Huh.
expenses are a
I
big
mean,
chunk.
obviously.
big,
so
big
not
chunk.
talking about expenses. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you
You
would have
get it.
taken your own time to recover the return on investment. But
For sure, you get it. You get it.
Nahi
in
to-
the-
so 40,000 euros roughly was your first salary.
Education, ideally in education world, what my theoretical understanding says, 2.5 to 4.5 years of your payback period. In masters, is a good amount of. It's a decent.
But that is again on savings, right? मतलब अगर कोई बंदा सेव या इन्वेस्ट ही नहीं
हाँ,
कर रहा
ठीक है।
है,
मतलब 2.5 क्योंकि अगर वैसा सोच के देखो तो इंडिया में भी अगर आप 20 स्कूल लेते हो तो 12 से 15 लाख रुपए आप एवरेज 20 स्कूल की फीस होती है, एंड नॉर्मली पीपल टेंड टू गेट दैट पे बैक। उस वे में तो आपको रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्ट पहले साल में ही मिल रहा है ना, तो बिजनेस का भी आप वैसे ही कैलकुलेट करते हैं ना, वही थोड़ा ना बोलते हो कि मेरे बैंक में कितना पैसा बचा।
obviously. Yeah. What about you?
आई थिंक 18,000 जो हमने ट्यूशन फीस पे लगाए थे, बट आई थिंक विद द लिविंग एक्सपेंसेस एंड ऑल फॉर दोस 2 periods इट वेंट ऑन टू go for 30,000
हाँ, नहीं, but what was your first salary?
38,000
Oh, nice. So your first thing covered. So pretty much, Ivan, आप क्या?
मेरी फर्स्ट सैलरी वाज, आई रिमेंबर इट क्लियरली, अबाउट 2700 euros gross per month.
Which also translates to close about 35.
no 24
27 into 12. हाँ, 27,000,
Sorry,
27,000.
27 into 13 because this
35,000
is
so 1 month salary with
excluding
extra.
holiday.
हाँ, 35,000 हो गया मोटा मोटी. I don't know about taxes.
Let's leave the taxes for now.
But 27 you said gross, na?
Yeah.
Not net.
No, the net would
So I'm also
35,
everybody's talking
हाँ,
gross.
Yeah,
now.
we are
ठीक
talking
है,
in
ठीक है,
gross
ठीक है,
terms.
We are talking gross. now.
untaxed.
Perfect. ठीक है, makes sense. So pretty much 35 to 40. So first year में आपकी tuition fee जितना package आपको लग सकता है, and then obviously it depends on the kind of money you save.
Yeah, I think if you look at the average hourly charge you'll get here, if you are graduating from a B school, I think above 25,000 euros is a. And what is the basic minimum wage rate क्या है यहाँ पे, मतलब कि
As of
forget
today.
about your education कि हर individual को Netherlands में कितना मिलता
So
है?
it's a bit progressive depending on your age.
Consider your age only.
So above 21 is generic, then
Yeah.
it is like 14.5 or something
Per
similar.
14.5 euros per hour.
Per hour.
That's the
Bare
तो
minimum.
कितना पैसा महीने का, मतलब कितना है?
And then you can work 40
8
hours.
hours. हाँ, 40 hours.
40 hours a week, and then 4 weeks. So 4 for 16, 160 into 14.
20.
25,000.
Correct.
तो wouldn't, मतलब don't take us otherwise or like कि एक एवरेज सबसे कम वेज नेदरलैंड्स में 25 है शायद 20, and you being MBA MS आपने और आप
But that is
almost
today.
20% higher you,
But-
not today, that time.
So correct. That's exactly the thing, because we were
Achha,
not
that-
aware
Ah.
how much we should be paid, because campus placement is not a thing. So there was a lot of constraints as well. No, visa constraint hai. We have to survive. We have to not go back home either if we don't want to. Visa is limited time. Then we need somebody to sponsor us. We need to stay. We need to start
तो
earning.
moreover theoretically
A lot of-
यही वाला गेम है कि आप इंडिया से आ तो गए पढ़ने, बट हाइंडसाइड में एक इमोशनल क्वेश्चन जरूर रहता है कि
sure.
एक डर है.
Yeah, but I think it's a very good question. But in, let's say, for example, in the Netherlands, more or less most of the economies right now are capitalist, but in the fundamental of the Netherlands, they are still socialist.
Yeah.
So no matter you are a MBA or masters or
Everyone is.
bachelors, they want to give everybody a similar start
Start.
in the beginning of their lives,
That's actually a very interesting point.
and after
कि
2
irrespective of what kind of profession or education that you're
Education
coming
you
from,
are.
you should have a similar start of.
correct. So
That's
and
why. Sorry. Go ahead.
and I can say this because when currently when I'm working in a managerial role, we also hire the starter positions.
Entry level.
So still, let's say these salaries have got inflation corrected. It has reached 2800 or 2900. So it doesn't make any difference that whether we were aware or not, whether we are Indians or Dutch.
इतना ही मिलेगा.
The start for everybody in a
Netherlands.
socialist structured Netherlands is almost same for everybody.
But here is a catch. If few people who are hired directly from India or say X state outside of Netherlands based on their work experience, I think they get really good salaries.
Yeah, and
Because
they are
again, I think they're-
technology specific jobs.
Yeah.
And again, because I think
No,
the
for
point there
marketing
is
as well sometimes,
being
yeah.
hired as a specialist, right? Irrespective
Yeah.
of.
Correct.
So they really get good packages when compared to students
वो
being
कितना
hired
होगा
there.
roughly?
I think they beat
No
the
doubt.
average.
But I mean, in percentage
More than
terms.
65, 70.
ठीक है, वो lateral entry
So basically, that is about 50% above
Yeah,
your.
for sure.
But it depends. उनका experience भी फिर चलता
हाँ,
होगा.
हो सकता
So
है.
now we are comparing you just graduating from a B school to
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
ठीक
To
है.
somebody having 5 year or 7 year
So obviously
experience.
But even in terms of people in India who had 4-5 years of working experience, they came here to do their B school. Not everybody was able to get the same salary when compared to a direct hire. Although the direct hires are very less, your chances of being hired after graduating from a B school is a bit higher because now you have some sort of experience in Netherlands and you're already existing here. So you can give physical interviews. And
Yeah,
then
obviously.
your approach is a bit different for companies. Then they could directly reach out to somebody else, and it's a bit skeptical if they would really turn out to be who they are. So yeah.
तो ये pretty much हमें समझ में आ गया है कि return on investment on MBA कैसा है. अब let's obviously I mean you guys are doing really well for yourselves. Had some good years in Netherlands. अच्छा वैसे I mean maybe you can tell us a little about life in Netherlands in general. And also life in Netherlands versus life in Europe. Why is this Netherlands a good?
लाइफ एक ही बंदा जी रहा है यहाँ.
हाँ.
शानू भाई.
Sean.
Sure.
Sean. ये आप सही में करते हो?
शॉन गुप्ता.
नहीं यार.
सही से. Please.
Dutch passport पे इसका नाम होगा Sean van Roorke.
Sean.
Sean from Netherlands.
So fan means from
From.
कहाँ से हो आप? जैसे अपने इंडिया में कई कई जगह होता है कि कौन से आप शहर गांव से हो तो वैसे fan
Sean van Roorke.
शानू from
By the way, Shanu owns a house in the Netherlands, so fun तो ले ही रहा है वो.
Nice.
not easy but yeah.
हाँ. Maybe we can do a different episode on buying a house in Netherlands versus buying a house in
Living on
India.
a rental accommodation in the Netherlands.
Yeah. But that was a good insight that you gave me. कि भाई the mortgage versus rental is
And mortgage process in the Netherlands is
What's the rate
super
of
easy,
interest
super
there,
transparent.
कहाँ पे?
इधर कितना rate of interest है हम लोग?
3-4.
Right now 3.3%.
and ये बड़ा है क्या अभी? Like post COVID?
Yes.
बहुत ज़्यादा.
There was also a time I took mortgage at the rate of 4.25% because at that time what was happening, I think the inflation was at its peak.
अच्छा.
So the interest rates were very very high, and I think after that they came low.
Yours is not this.
तो इस यहाँ पे
हाँ.
क्या है कि fluctuate करता है inflation के हिसाब से fixed rate of
बिल्कुल.
interest रहता है.
नहीं.
Both
वही है,
options
same
देते हैं
side,
जो
same
same
side.
India वाला
Yeah,
ecosystem
yeah,
है.
to control inflation and to
तो savings account में कितना rate of interest है आप
कुछ
लोगों
भी
को?
अब है कुछ तो हुआ पहले तो कुछ भी नहीं था अब तो एक
Yeah,
सवा है.
that is why they are giving lesser loans.
Yeah,
lesser
1.2
interest.
वैसे कुछ है. No.
अभी कितना है होम लोन? 4.25 पे आपने स्टार्ट किया था अभी pretty much same.
mine is locked.
अच्छा okay.
But now it's less 3.2 3.5.
Oh, so you can't convert it by paying a fee or something?
I will have to check, but I don't know how.
तो
But I
मतलब
think
तू
the
कह रहा है तेरा
pricing here also
4.25 fixed है.
Huh?
4.25 fixed है rate of
10 साल
interest.
फिक्स है शायद इसका.
हाँ,
So
मेरा
मतलब
शायद
basically you are on
I've
loan.
split it into two parts. One part is on the fixed interest rate and one part on the fluctuating
Okay.
interest rate.
And if you don't mind, what is your EMI percentage compared to your total monthly income?
Mine at the moment is about 30%, let's say.
30%. Okay.
Not bad. मतलब
Not
30% is actually good because in a way you're putting it into an asset and you're saving on rent.
Yeah.
The good financial literacy says कि your home loan to your total net of income, which 25 to 30% is.
Your EMI
Is
should be
good, yeah.
25%, but then you should also be saving another 25% in financial assets, which I
Which
believe,
is
which
missing
right
right
now,
now.
That's where Shanu comes into play. Lifestyle choices.
which is where his Mercedes is taking over. By the way, folks, Shanu drives a Mercedes, so you know he's
And what if you are
High on-
renting a home? Then what percentage it should be for your
Savings.
net income?
so your rental then becomes a part of your expense. So your expense in general, I mean, what
Total expenses.
we suggest is ki, you should follow a 30-20-50 rule where 50% is your total expenses. So if
Of
you're
your salary.
Yeah.
that's your
Isn't
your
it? बहुत ज़्यादा लग रहा है.
it is so that is your that's something that you aim for कि आपको अपना 50% में खर्चा करना चाहिए. I know it's not practically feasible for a lot, but
नहीं, he was saying कि तुम्हें 50% में ज़्यादा लग रहा है, कम लग रहा है?
ज़्यादा लग रहा है.
ज़्यादा लग रहा है.
कम होना
50
चाहिए.
sorry
कम
50% कम
होना
लग रहा है.
नहीं,
ज़्यादा लग रहा है.
ज़्यादा लग रहा है.
50%
मतलब वो कह रहा है कि मैं खर्चा कम कर सकता हूँ.
हाँ.
हाँ, okay, ठीक है. Good for you. मतलब
Yeah.
that's
I mean, I
actually
didn't know
good.
the number, but
हाँ.
I don't.
No, so
try to
what
spend
we
50% of my salary. It's a lot.
so but that includes your rent and this and that everything. So what we are saying is
Other
30%
expenses
is
Okay.
30% is your total. So 30% आँख बंद करके तो आपको invest ही करना है towards your long term investments.
Fair enough.
20% is your immediate savings, right?
अच्छा.
Any sort of emergency funds or any sort of urgency that comes, and 50% is your overall kharcha, which includes your EMI,
Traveling.
your traveling, your anything and
अच्छा,
everything.
सब खर्चा मिला.
सब
Oh,
खर्चा,
fair enough.
सब
Grocery,
खर्चा, सब खर्चा.
rent.
हाँ, सब खर्चा मिला के. So that should be your ideal split, but
But then 50% should be my emergency funds and my savings, and plus my investments as well. That should
Yeah.
be 50%.
Mm.
And then the remaining 50% in Europe should be your rental plus your other expenses.
Mhm.
I'm not sure how much we will be, what kind of lifestyle
हाँ.
we will be able
Yours
to
is
live.
way higher than 50% for the expense part.
Yeah, but that's the point, right? Or point for discussion. That
But then exactly.
if I save 50%, which includes my investments plus emergency funds, what kind of lifestyle are we
I-
going to live here?
I think for you, 50% expense, 0% immediate cash,
Mhm.
30% savings, yeah, maybe.
But if I talk
बाकी
about
20
you,
कहाँ गया?
Yeah, 20% is also in expense. So 70% expense, 30%
So
savings.
But let's take it otherwise. What is your
इसका तो छोड़ दो.
what is your
If I talk about you,
ठीक है, let's
70% expense.
अभी वैसे क्या चल रहा
let's
है?
take a quick health check ना कि आप कहाँ पे stand कर रहे हो अभी.
So
I
you're-
think I would be close.
नहीं, what is yours?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would be in the same probably.
30, 20,
metric.
50. So
No. In mostly expense
what
अरे
is
इतना
your
सोचना नहीं
expense?
होता है पहले.
and
वही लोचा है,
very
numbers
less
में लोचा है.
savings. I think I'm totally distorted from this.
30,
नहीं, but चलो on a rough understanding.
अभी सोच ले.
Like अभी so let's consider your home loan EMI to be your investments part.
Okay.
Let's just consider
Okay.
for this argument
Okay.
sake. तो अभी आपका कैसा split है? Let's say आपका home loan EMI है,
Yeah.
and if there are any savings and
And then 70% is all expense.
so 30% is your home loan EMI, 70% is expense.
Correct.
Perfect. You?
My expense versus my
हाँ.
other things, right? हाँ, if we say कि 50% including travel, including everything, so roughly I would say कि 50% of my salary
You're there.
goes into expenses.
Hmm.
Sometimes 60, sometimes 40. So let's consider 50% to be the average.
50 saving.
50 saving and 50.
Very
I do
nice.
that.
Very nice.
I do that.
What would you?
For me, I think 25 to 30% is my savings, and the emergency fund, which you are asking me to put from each month 20%. I think I have considered a certain buffer amount,
हाँ.
which I've already built up
ठीक है.
over the
Perfect.
years.
That's what
And
you have to
then
do.
on a monthly basis, I don't have that 20% emergency fund.
So what do you do about the 20 then now?
Then it's more or less in my expenses.
Expense account. Okay. So that should ideally, again theoretically, go towards your investment account because यार जब 50% में खर्चा चल रहा है तो
Yeah.
क्यों बढ़ा?
But in my opinion, I think if I do that, then my lifestyle will be getting
हाँ,
better.
okay. Fair enough. So I think that's exactly the point where we all suggest.
Yours is like again 50% expenses.
So 30-70 है
30-70.
in a way.
So 30-70. Yeah.
क्योंकि
And the
क्योंकि
emergency
he's
fund
already
already
sorted
went.
his emergency fund. So that's exactly the
Actually, you
point.
sorted your emergency.
Now the definition of emergency fund could be different for everyone.
Emergency fund is
Correct.
6 months of your expenses.
Yeah.
So 6 months of your expenses is if you have that handy.
Yeah.
Handy. What do we mean with handy?
In a very
When-
liquid instrument, something like a debt bond or a fixed
मतलब
deposit.
God forbid your job goes, something you're
तो
reckoning.
अभी के अभी आप 6 महीने का पैसा आपके अकाउंट में आ सकता है.
expense तो आपका stop
बट
नहीं
हर के
होगा।
लिए करेक्ट है, बट हर किसी के लिए वो इमरजेंसी फंड डेट पे हो कहीं भी और मैटर अलग कर सकता है
हाँ.
ना. फॉर एग्जांपल मेरे लिए कोई हल्का सा डेट फंड में नहीं हो के जिसका लिक्विडेट करना बहुत इजी होता है, मेरे को हो सकता है हल्का सा कोई लॉन्ग टर्म म्यूचुअल फंड में लगा होगा, कोई ETF में लगा हो
बट
सकता है.
दैट्स द पॉइंट, राइट? सो इमरजेंसी फंड आप लॉन्ग टर्म म्यूचुअल फंड में इसलिए नहीं डालना चाहोगे बिकॉज लेट्स से अगर वी नो अबाउट द जियोपॉलिटिकल सिचुएशन राइट नाउ, राइट? सो लेट्स से अगर अभी इफ द मार्केट्स आर डाउन, then you would not want to withdraw your emergency fund from a investment that you made for the longer term. Maybe market is at its 52-week low right now, or you know, or at an, or
Which is a drawdown from your capital, right?
So then you're just breaking down to long term compounding. So ideally, what you should be doing is,
But then what also happens is it also depends on your risk taking capacity.
बिल्कुल.
Few people are like, ठीक है मेरे को मेरा जो ये इमरजेंसी फंड है उसमें ज्यादा रिस्क नहीं लेना, बट डिपेंडिंग ऑन माय स्टाइल आई लाइक टेकिंग रिस्क्स. मे बी मेरा इमरजेंसी फंड भी बहुत अच्छे से ग्रो कर जाए, आई वुड लाइक टू पुट इनटू एन ETF.
मतलब मेरा भी वही सोचने का तरीका है.
आई डोंट बिलीव या कहीं भी आई एम रेडी टू टेक द ड्रॉडाउन,
वो ठीक है.
बट अगर वो गया तो गया. सो या मेरा इमरजेंसी फंड है,
the main point of so we call it as SLR principle, कि SLR principle बोलता है कि भाई आपका emergency fund should be safe. S stands for safe, L stands for liquid, and then comes your return, right? So now obviously if it's safe and liquid, then return is what is depending on person to person.
It falls on the
right?
matrix.
It falls on the matrix कि भाई as you say कि भाई मैं long term risk ले सकता हूँ, high risk ले सकता हूँ, high reward game खेलना चाहता हूँ. That is fair enough, but again, so ideally one should at least try कि भाई 3 महीने की तो minimum salary at least FD में है कि भाई by chance
सैलरी की जो 3 महीने की
expense FD में है कि by chance अगर भगवान ना करे अगर सैलरी रुक जाए तो 3 महीने का खर्चा निकल जाए. That's
उस टाइम पे दोस्तों काम आते हैं.
और उतना ही टाइम मिलता है रहने का. 3 महीने on a visa.
Yes.
Unless and until you have a PR or a Dutch passport.
Yeah.
Nice, very nice. So that brings us to the next topic of the discussion, which is now fast forward all your masti and you know all your life and the super amazing things that I've witnessed about your group in the last couple of days. Apart from all of that, now you're, I think, in the juncture where all of you are personally looking to get promoted in your personal lives, which is getting married, getting settled down, so on and so forth. And I think with that aspect in mind, you know, all of you are at 3 different junctions, as Nalin was sharing in the beginning, कि भाई एक के Dutch passport मिल गया, एक green card पे है, Dutch PR, and then एक is still deciding whether you want to move to India or not. How did you go about that decision? Numbers का क्या खेल था उसमें versus I think अब तुम लोगों ने 8 साल बिता लिए हैं, so that has a lot to do with I mean now this decision will have a lot to do with your cultural aspect, your emotional aspect, your Europe aspect, the dream place for anyone to stay. So
and plus emotional aspect also, because you are also aging and your parents back home are also aging, so वो कितना role play करता है. So let's start with the highest.
With the Dutch guy.
Just Dutch on the books.
Dutch guy.
Okay, for sure. So it was difficult, like I told you in the beginning. So what happens is after 5 years, you are eligible to take either a PR like Shanu or take a Dutch passport. But I just got my Dutch citizenship last year. So after 7 years. So meaning after 5 years, I had the eligibility, but I was still thinking, I was contemplating. जब नया नया आया था, I was like, आते ही passport change करना है India में, all those bullshitty things, the corruption, the population, the pollution, all those things. I think pretty much we all have this in mind.
Yeah.
But I think you get a bit more patriotic, or you understand the value of something when you don't have it with yourself. Be it your parents, your family, your friends, and that same thing happened with me when I left my nation behind. A lot of things came into factor. Of course, the lifestyle is a big thing. Your old friends, your society, your
सबकी एकदम से याद आने लगती है ना.
बहुत ज़्यादा. Your local food is such a big component to that as well. I cannot even explain now. I mean, there are few things जो आप experience तभी करते हो when you leave out of the place. Then you realize exactly the value which we just say, like घर पे बोलते हैं ना, जब मम्मी लोग बोलते हैं क्यों इतना चिल्ला रहे हो, ये करो, जैसे तुम जब पेरेंट्स बन जाओगे, तुम जब माँ बाप बनोगे, तुम्हें तब समझ में आएगा. इसलिए हम नहीं करेंगे ऐसा. But you don't until you really are in that particular situation. So that was the things I was really thinking about. But then again, like you said, this episode is based on Chalo Numbers Samjhe, and that was a big thing in my mind as well. So like by now you might have understood कि I try to play with my finances a bit good in taking risk and trying to invest here and there. So that was a one-time investment again. So to take a Dutch citizenship, it does cost some in terms of time, in terms of money, in terms of your thought process, in terms of leaving out your citizenship, which is again emotional cost, big emotional cost. I must say. Anyways, then I finally took a call based on these things. The first thing was I would get a mobility across the globe.
Yeah, which you said 170 plus countries.
Correct. Now again, now comparing just to bring a fair value of comparison. For example, if Nayan is now willing to go to UK, because now UK is not a part of Schengen, it's not a part of the European Union, it is part of Europe. So Nayan would have to apply a visa. Now he has to invest a lot of time. So for me, money is a factor, but I think where we stand right now, time is a bigger factor than money at this level for me.
Obviously,
because time helps us get money, right? If we are lacking time, money पैसा हम कल भी कमा लेंगे, परसों कमा लेंगे, आज का टाइम कल वापस नहीं आएगा.
Correct.
तो अब नयन को बहुत मेहनत करना पड़ेगा यूके वीजा के लिए. जस्ट टू गिव यू एन एग्जांपल, रफ एग्जांपल, उसको पेपर्स रेडी करने पड़ेंगे, उसको एक अपॉइंटमेंट लेना पड़ेगा, उसको फिजिकली उस अपॉइंटमेंट के प्लेस में जाना पड़ेगा, बायोमेट्रिक्स देने के लिए, जैसे शानू बता रहा है, और फिर उसको अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा, पासपोर्ट जमा करना पड़ेगा, एंड देन ही कैन ऑप्ट कि उसके घर में पासपोर्ट मिल जाए, एंड देन इट वुड कॉस्ट एज वेल. फॉर एग्जांपल, roughly 6 months of UK visa would cost Shanu 200 euros, ऐसा कुछ. Yeah. So that would be around 200 euros. Whereas now for me, and then of course taking an appointment, visiting physically himself, और आने जाने का cost और time और
Correct.
Whereas for me right now, मुझे अप्लाई करने के लिए उनका एक यूके इमिग्रेशन का कोई ऐप है, वो डाउनलोड करना पड़ेगा, सब कुछ इमीडिएटली डिजिटली अपलोड करना पड़ेगा, बहुत ज्यादा डॉक्यूमेंट्स भी नहीं, लाइक वेरी लेस,
बेसिक मिनिमम.
जस्ट सो मैं डच पासपोर्ट है मेरे पास, जैसा आपने सुना, और उसके ऊपर एक स्कैनर जैसा एक फैसिलिटी नया स्टार्ट हुआ है. आई जस्ट नीड टू स्कैन माय पासपोर्ट,
ओके,
एंड दैट वुड डिजिटली एक्सट्रैक्ट ऑल माय डेटा इनटू देयर सिस्टम.
वाओ.
So that would help them get the authenticity as well, and all my data. And then trust me, within 20 minutes, either my visa is approved or denied. Although it would be approved most of the cases.
Unless कोई बहुत red flag.
Correct, बहुत red flags अगर already system ने कर रखा है, but that was not the case. And then the cost wise, it's only 20 euros.
My goodness.
So 200 euros versus 20 euros.
90%
you still have to pay some fees.
Yeah, you have to.
That's
वो
a
तो
visa
application
fee
fee type होगा.
So there are few countries which has like this ETA, electronic travel authorization, whereas few countries are visa on arrival and visa free.
But obviously your Dutch citizen decision was not just travel.
Not
right?
just on
Chalo,
travel, of course.
So what about other aspects?
So the other aspect was looking at the market scenario right now. There are very uncertainties. What we are seeing, like geopolitical issues, now countries dividing, and then people disagreeing with each others in terms of thought, in terms of economies, in terms of the trade unions, in terms of all of the tariffs around, and this is not helping any country move in a certain direction. So for example, for each one of us, 3 months is what we get if we lose out on our job. That's a bigger uncertainty. Having spent my life 7 to 8 years in Netherlands, I don't want the country for me to decide when I need to go back to my country. I want to leave this country if in case I decide on my own terms now. इतना साल हो गया, I don't want कि यार 3 महीना मुझे मिले और then मैं मेरे घर जाऊँ. So this was another component for me कि यार मेरे को घर जाना है अब मेरे हिसाब से for me. And then the third point which I also discussed with my family, they were also very comfortable. तो I thought उनसे भी पूछ लिया जाएगा. Few parents think यार ये चला जाएगा और नहीं रहेगा, इसको citizenship मिल जाएगा तो और ये कभी नहीं आएगा. So they were like, यार तुझे Indian citizenship वापस मिल सकता है. So why don't you go with it?
By the way, how tough is it?
Sorry?
How tough is it to get the Indian citizenship back?
Not that tough.
Achha, okay.
Because you already have Indian roots, you are born in India, you were there. So it's easy now. And of course with this OCI thing started back in 2009, or I'm not good with that date. Sorry for that. But it's as good as you are a part of Indian citizen as well. Few less rights, of course. You cannot vote, you cannot be a politician, you cannot be a journalist, you cannot do a mountaineering course.
But once you, let's say if you decide to move back and you switch back to your Indian passport, can you do all of these things again?
Yes, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Then you can. The big thing is you cannot have an agricultural land. Income out of an agriculture thing, let's say like that. Agricultural income.
Okay.
So yeah, that was my part of taking a Dutch citizenship and then.
So mostly your fundamental thinking behind taking a Dutch passport was not कि मेरे को चाहिए ही चाहिए. It is more of a flexibility.
Correct.
क्योंकि down west US में क्या कल्चर है कि जो पहले चलता था पता नहीं क्या है कि लोगों को सिटीजनशिप चाहिए ही चाहिए होती थी क्योंकि नौकरी में उनको बड़ा फायदा होता था. वो यहाँ पे यूरोपियन वर्ल्ड में, क्योंकि this might be a valid point for the audience also, कि यूरोपियन कल्चर is slightly on the opposite side from US और वहाँ पे सिटीजनशिप, ग्रीन कार्ड, वो वीजा वाली रेस में लोग लगे रहते हैं. यहाँ पे वो कल्चर नहीं है. यहाँ पे इसने जैसे बताया.
So what you're saying is whether you have a Dutch passport or you have a Indian green card or Dutch green card or the salary remains the same.
Yeah, for sure. The salary, the benefits pretty much remain the same.
बट इसका पुश डच पासपोर्ट के लिए नहीं था कि मेरे को जॉब में फायदा मिलेगा.
एक तो इजी एक्सेसिबिलिटी थी, मतलब अगेन यूएस लेवल पे ग्रीन कार्ड एंड देन सिटीजनशिप इज लाइक अ 15-year game for any Indian minimum. So for you that was easier, and then obviously I mean I think that makes sense.
But then I missed the cost. So for them, they're investing slowly,
Huh.
and I had a bigger investment, which is one time.
Which was
So to get to a Dutch citizenship, then you have to clear the language exam, which is
Ah.
A2 Dutch level, of course,
okay.
and then you have to give reading, writing, listening, speaking, and the KNM, which is the Dutch Society exam. So you have to pass these 5 exams, which is A2 level until now, and then once you clear these, and then you are only eligible to apply.
कितना खर्चा है इसमें पूरा?
So ये सारा खर्चा एग्जाम्स का पर एग्जाम का एक कॉस्ट है, एंड ऑफ कोर्स यू इन्वेस्ट टाइम एंड ऑल ऑफ कोर्स टू स्टडी फॉर द एग्जाम, एंड देन यू अप्लाई फॉर द पासपोर्ट. सो ये सारा खर्चा मिला के रफली समझो 1700 से 2000 यूरो, 1700
Okay.
to 2000 euros is what you would look up to.
2.5 लाख 2 लाख रुपए.
Yeah, correct. It's a one time cost, of course.
Not,
And then
not,
it's
not too much.
yeah, it's not too much.
Acha, and just one more question to you, which is whatever earnings that you're doing right now as a Dutch citizen or as working in Dutch, if today at this experience, at this educational qualification, if you go back to India and get a job, salary में कितना difference आएगा? Maybe you could share that in percentage wise.
Yeah.
I think huge.
Huge. Yeah. I think what I'm earning to what I would expect is of course a bit higher, but I think what I'm listening with my friends or people who are willing to move but still unable to, or who have moved because of some certainties
Personal
or
reasons
uncertainties,
also.
yeah, personal things. I think somewhere close to less than 60% to what you would get right now.
Oh wow! So if you're
60 to
earning 100
70%.
rupees here, you're
Yeah.
getting 40 rupees in India.
I think so.
Massive difference.
सेम
Massive
तो
difference.
वैसे भी नहीं मिलेगा ना कभी आप यहाँ
But again, then the purchasing power parity comes into play. right?
Obviously.
So just to give you a lame example, a coffee over here would cost you around roughly say 3.5 euros.
हाँ
which
भाई
would
बहुत
be-
महंगी है.
Yeah.
थक गए महंगी कौन सी
coffee
महंगी
back
है?
there also is
बहुत
almost
महंगी coffee
300 400 rupees.
No. So for example, I mean हर जगह नहीं होगा कॉफी 300
हाँ,
400
Starbucks- you're right ना Starbucks ही 350 है.
Starbucks
But-
compared
but-
to
But in Gurgaon,
But-
everywhere is 300 rupees.
हाँ but then you're not having a 300 rupee coffee every day ना, मतलब कहने का मतलब है कि आप डेली में तो नेस्कैफे की
चलो
कॉफी
let's not take coffee as a comparison, क्योंकि कॉफी हम बहुत पीते हैं, कॉफी इंडिया में एक हल्का सा वो हो गया, it's
Premium
not
game है.
correct premium thing.
चाय
Let's
यहाँ
compare
पे.
food. for
चाय तो
example.
ठेले पे 15 रुपए की मिल जाएगी ना.
Correct. Let's compare चाय या एक dish. For example, a dish. If we all go to Indian restaurant or any other restaurant, an average dish जो एक बंदा अकेले कंज्यूम कर सकता है, it's around 20 euros.
पता चल गया भाई कल 35,000 रुपए का खाना खा के.
So it's around
Swiss francs
20 euros.
हाँ.
And I think आप कोई भी decent restaurant जाओ इंडिया में,
हाँ.
400-500 रुपए, I think
हाँ.
300-400 रुपए
हाँ,
एक
हाँ,
डिश आ जाएगा. So let's take that. कॉफी तो इंडिया में थोड़ा प्रीमियम गेम हो गया आजकल,
हाँ.
वो ब्लू टोकाई और वो क्या क्या चल गए हैं, वो
हाँ.
बहुत ज्यादा प्रीमियम चार्ज कर रहे हैं, इट्स अ बिट हायर साइड. यहाँ से कॉफी, यहाँ
हाँ.
कॉफी इज अ चाय वाला गेम.
हाँ, हाँ.
इंडिया में जैसे चाय कंज्यूम करते हैं, कॉफी
Correct.
कंज्यूम करते हैं, इट्स अ बिट लेस.
Correct.
बट रेस्टोरेंट्स सुपर एक्सपेंसिव,
Correct.
सुपर.
So basically to summarize it, जितना so since you said that you are able to save about 30 to 50% of your income,
Yeah.
तो जितना आप यहाँ पे सेव करोगे
उतना मैं वहाँ
उतना आप
कमाऊंगा भी नहीं.
हाँ उससे कम ही कमाओगे,
Correct.
because 60-40 वाला
तो
है.
मैं सोच लो अब मैं वहाँ जाके सेव क्या कर पाऊँ.
हाँ,
बट देन नाउ आई थिंक लाइफस्टाइल इज अ बिगर थिंग हियर,
हाँ,
क्योंकि यहाँ पे मैं सारे काम, हम सभी सारे काम खुद ही करते हैं.
हाँ.
फॉर एग्जाम्पल बीट ग्रोसरीज, रफली कुकिंग करना, जो भी सॉर्ट ऑफ कुकिंग हम करना
Household
चाहते हैं,
chores.
हाउस होल्ड साले कोर्स हम खुद ही करते हैं.
हाँ.
क्लीनिंग और बेसिक क्लीनिंग और जो भी है, ऑफ कोर्स मे बी वंस इन अ मंथ.
हाँ, basically I think the basic service is
lifestyle is a big challenge.
lacking
It's-
here.
Yeah.
मतलब
It's not lacking. It is available, but it is
at
it comes
a
at a
premium
cost.
cost. हाँ,
It's
हाँ.
premium cost,
Right.
yeah.
I think things like getting a house help or getting a
It's good in India then.
driver or so
उसके
on and so
अंदर
forth
भी
is-
whatever you earn in India, you can still afford that.
हाँ.
So you have a luxurious experience with a lesser salary.
Makes
And
sense.
here you have maybe few people
हाँ.
call it difficult, or we enjoy doing it.
Correct.
So by now, maybe
हाँ,
call
and
it a
then
choice.
it becomes a habit, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then obviously अभी currently you guys are single, so the amount
That
of
also helps.
house chores and the work that you'll have to do is relatively lesser. And then maybe once you have a partner, you can divide the house chores.
We already see you doing that.
Thanks for saying that. But okay, coming to you next. You are in the middle. तो अभी आपके
He's
like,
always
what-
in the middle.
That's why he's Shanu and Sean.
कोई बीच का भी और भी नाम है कोई शानू शॉन के अलावा? शॉन की कहानी क्या है?
कोई कहानी नहीं है यार ऐसी।
कुछ कहानियां कहीं रही सही है.
To change the single.
मिलेगी जल्दी मिलेगी. हमने सीमा आंटी को बोल दिया है, नेटफ्लिक्स वाली सीमा आंटी को, so she's gonna find one for you very soon. But हाँ, tell us quickly about your thoughts. So as much as I understand, you're not really looking to move back to India in the next
5 years, 7 years, not immediately. For me, the thing was, so when I came to this job, my boss was really keen for me to learn Dutch. So I was, I took Dutch lessons.
Mhm.
and I reached at a level where I could, let's say, have a very casual conversation in Dutch.
Mhm.
Um,
So since he's smiling while saying that, I'm assuming that he means able to talk with the girls
But still,
casually.
Casually approach girls like you could.
Mister.
Bond. James Bond.
so the thing was, now when I started looking for the jobs, a lot of so my current company, it's a small size company, and there's a very big chunk of SMEs that cannot sponsor expats.
Mhm.
So you lose a lot of opportunities just because you don't have the valid working visa.
Mhm.
um, so for me, the only reason to have this PR was to also get these jobs in my scope,
Mhm.
so that I don't have to worry about the discussion with the recruiters whether I have a visa or not.
That's actually very interesting point. कि मतलब your job prospects open up.
Correct.
Your
correct.
number
Yeah,
of
fair points.
200%.
Ah.
200%. And then the process to get a PR is exactly the same as a passport, in terms of that you have to write all the 5 exams in the A2
Acha, so
language.
you have to, so that's the same amount of investment, I guess. Then again,
The eligibility is also the same. So after 5 years, you choose
Yeah.
either a PR or a passport. Depends on totally.
Acha,
It's your call. It's your call. Yeah.
oh, so you can, so you don't have to get a PR first and then a
Oh,
passport.
No.
I
They
directly
are two
applied for a
independent.
passport.
Okay.
then, yeah.
Since these two things are independent, so the costs are also totally different from each other.
Hmm.
The cost to get a PR is about 250 euros.
Acha, that's it.
And then
But you would have paid the same 1,500 to 2,000 for the language and everything. No?
no,
For those 5 exams.
No, so the cost to apply a citizenship is higher.
Yeah.
So that's around 1,400, 1,300 something euros.
Okay.
and that is only 250 euros for the PR.
Correct.
Okay.
Rest everything is same.
Okay.
Then
So
the
when
rest-
you said your 2,000 euros, did that include this 1,400
Yeah,
euros?
yeah.
So
1,400
1,400
and
of
then the exams and all everything.
for
So that's
600,
correct.
700. ठीक है.
And those exams are same.
हाँ. So then you paid that 600, 700 for the exams plus the 250 for your PR, which
Correct.
we paid.
Correct. So there is a total
Yeah,
difference of about
exactly,
1,200
exactly.
euros
Understood.
in the two processes.
ठीक है, ठीक है.
So
But again, that I don't think would be a difference. I mean, would be a factor.
Yeah.
बहुत
correct,
बड़ा amount
correct,
नहीं है.
correct, correct. And and now I just have a PR for now, and yeah, it has a plus point that let's say tomorrow if I lose my job, then I don't need to be no, but I don't know about that. What happens to me in case I lose a job, if I'm safe or not. For
You're
the,
safe.
yeah,
You're
okay.
safe. For the next 5 years,
Yeah.
you're totally safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got the PR, right?
Yeah.
You're safe. You're safe. I know for sure you're safe.
Or you got the PR?
So yeah, that was the thing.
Makes sense. ठीक है, fair point. So and now moving on to you. You want to come back to India immediately. Immediately within the next 6
Within
months,
the
1
next
year.
6 months, 1 year. Max.
तो क्या सोच है उसके पीछे and why do you want to come back and again emotional versus economics.
Yeah, I think there are 2-3 reasons for this, or not 2-3 reasons, but how I see it from 2-3 sides. Also, my age, I'm 30 right now. Also, the phase of life that I'm entering into at this point of time, and the third side is the corporate ambitions. Let's say, abhi at this point of time, I'm at a very comfortable position. Let's say, or at least I have that confidence. Ki it's going well, and I could maybe generally increase my pay package by, let's say, 5 to 8% per annum increment within the same company, or you might switch jobs.
कितना होता है यहाँ पे general increment?
Yeah, depends. I think you can take an average between 2 to 5 in general.
We can say 8 to 10 in India.
Because rate of interest is
But yeah, inflation भी इंडिया के कंपैरिजन में कम है तो
Inflation कितना है?
Inflation depend करता है. COVID, post COVID, it was really a lot. But I think now it's 1.5%.
it's smoothing out.
Yeah,
I think it's
really nice.
I mean,
Wow.
I think still the CPI is at least 2.5 to 3%.
yeah, 2.5%. Yeah.
But on an average basis, if you are able to get a good increment within the team, let's say 5% average, so that's one thing. And if you switch jobs, maybe 10 to 15% increment you might get. But what I am observing at this point of time, at least in the roles which I am targeting, is that you might go up to a pay package of 100k or 105k or maybe 110k, but if you are actually targeting leadership positions in proper Dutch companies or maybe multinationals as well, or if you have a corporate ambition, let's say within the next 10-15 years to go to a C-suite position, language is very mandatory, and that's not the casual conversations that
Like proper Dutch
Mr.
language.
Sean does here, but those are like real fluent Dutch conversations, which we might even have in this podcast, but in Dutch language. So that's the level of fluency I am saying, and it's business Dutch language. So that's one of the barriers which I actually see, that either you invest in yourself and come to that level of proficiency. And also, I think the other important aspect is the phase of life that I'm entering into. So I will be getting married next year, and I'm 30 at this point of time. And I think once you have a family,
Congratulations.
Thanks. And you might go up, and if you're planning a family, then you also have to decide, okay, which country might be your base. Will it be Netherlands? Will it be India? Right now, I'm single, so I am able to visit my family back X number of times in a year. But once you have a family, a partner, traveling back and forth is not that easy. And then also the expenses come into the
Obviously.
place. Right now it's multiplied by 1. In next 2-3 years, it might get multiplied into 3 or 4. So your pay package eventually should
Has
also
to increase 3 or 4
increase.
times.
So all those things which I have considered, and obviously there was never a long-term plan of settling into the Netherlands. I mean, I came here when I was 23, so the journey so far has been so much rewarding and quite exciting. So I actually didn't have any alternative to compare it with. So
Makes sense.
usually people do the other route, that they have some journey in India and then they come here. So they have a journey to Avlet, and I'm doing the opposite of it. And I haven't done the corporate thing back in India, so I actually don't have anything to compare it with. But I think, long thing short, it's more of the corporate ambitions, because here also in Netherlands, if you want to increase your annual package, which will have a direct influence on your savings, net income, you have to invest in yourself, be it the Dutch language, be it the upskilling that you have to do. Because here you get your pay packages based on your salaries, based on your age as well. So unless and until you really have something to offer to the table, which is very much scarce in the market, the average person will get a salary which is hooked to the age which is there in the market. So you really cannot ask 20-25% higher than what the benchmark is. So then my decision was that if I have to do that upskilling or really invest in myself, considering the phase of life which I'm entering into, why not do it in India, where you are close to the family. But eventually you have to move back to India, maybe within the next 5 years or so. And right now, since I am single, and if I have to take certain risks, it's for me. So that's how I came to the decision.
But then your the earlier conversation that we were having, कि 100 रुपए का सीधा 40 रुपए मिलेगा. So how's your response to that? I mean, are you ready for that? Are you mentally prepared for that? Or
I think I am mentally prepared for that. Right now, how I am now seeing it, so here in Netherlands, and I think we were also having a conversation in the past, that here we talk more on the top line. Let's say abhi 75k mil raha hai, then 80k, then 100k, 105k. We don't talk much about the net savings. But right now, I am seeing the pay packages in India is doing a reverse calculation, that okay, how close I can get to the savings right now I'm doing in the Netherlands, and then what's the pay package which will help me
reach that savings.
Yeah.
कि मतलब अगर basically what you're trying to say is, if you're saving 30% of your income
Exactly.
in Netherlands right now, which is translating to, let's say, X amount,
Yeah.
How much do you need to earn in Indian rupees
Exactly.
in order to save the same X amount?
Exactly. Maybe Maybe the not the percentage.
The X amount.
X amount. Maybe the lifestyle and all, it's a separate.
That's going to be a tough calculation.
That's going to be a tough calculation, but eventually the numbers or the maths won't come up to the same number.
It will.
But if it's in the close range, I think making that transition.
मतलब अगर वो exact calculations कर सकते हैं हम, but 100 का अगर आप अभी 30 कर रहे हो ना, वो 100 का 40 अर्निंग करने वाले हो, तो मतलब you'll have to save almost 60-70% of your income. So that's going to be
tough.
वो doable भी है ना, because he has a home back there.
हाँ.
So a lot of expenses will go
lot
up.
of the 70% of expense which he makes here would
Correct.
actually be zero or next
Correct.
to
The situation drastically
मतलब
changes, I
लाइफस्टाइल
think.
एक्सपेंसेस रह जाएंगे, फिक्स्ड एक्सपेंसेस इन टर्म्स ऑफ
बहुत
हाउस
drastically
एंड
change
रेंट
होता
एंड
है.
all of
Exponential
those
comes
things.
down.
but this while you were talking, this is a very important point which I wanted to ask. आप भी यहाँ पे पढ़े, आप भी यहाँ पे पढ़े, ये भी पढ़े, और भी लोग ऐसे बहुत होंगे पढ़े, तो क्या सही में द लीडरशिप पोजीशंस और द सी सूट लाइन ऑफ इज, फिर तो वो सबके लिए ब्लॉकर है ना. डच तो कभी भी
है.
हिंदुस्तानी नहीं
फिर तो
बोलता
हाँ
है ना.
मतलब
बोलते हैं.
दैट्स अ गुड क्वेश्चन,
नहीं, बोलते हैं,
आपके
बोलते
और
हैं.
आपके में भी.
मतलब ये वाली जनरेशन नहीं, उसके आगे की शायद बोल ले, बट
नहीं बोलते.
आप बोल लेते हैं अपना फ्लुएंटली.
सीखने वाले सीखते हैं.
हाँ.
They do invest. Sorry, we're
No,
off.
so,
Time
so, no, I was just trying to like put his question in a better way. That जो चीज़ ने बोली कि सी सूट एग्जीक्यूटिव पोजीशंस पे इट्स गोना बी टफ फॉर द काइंड ऑफ प्रोफाइल ही इज इन. आपके और आपकी क्या ख्याल आते हैं, मतलब आप जो जिस जॉब में हो या जिस कंपनी में हो, डू यू सी योरसेल्व्स गेटिंग इनटू दोस साइड काइंड ऑफ पोजीशंस इन द नियर फ्यूचर?
So I think very relevant point already by Nayan. Super relevant. Key language does come into play. Super. It does, for sure does. For example, assume we an expat, not an Indian, living in India, working in India, but unable to speak Hindi for that matter. Of course, we do consider English. These guys also do consider English as a second language, as a second language to at least communicate. And what is language? Language is a mean of communications. But then it also boils down to your level of comfort. What I think. And in India, apart from your emails and everything, what are people talking? Depending, of course, on your region. North of India, Delhi, those kind of places, people are comfortable in talking in Hindi. Of course, when we come down to a little bit South India, Kannada people in Kannada.
Different language. Telugu,
Depends on your region, right?
Malayali, etc.
Same as well. Over here, people want to talk in Dutch. Like Nayan told. Everybody, the localites are comfortable in Dutch. And then, if it's a Dutch company, for sure, then there's no question, most of the people, C-suite, CEOs, CTOs, CEOs, CFOs, whatever, people are very much comfortable in terms of Dutch being their foremost language. Right? I'm working in a Spanish bank. I'm working in a Spanish bank. It's fine. The CEO is not a Dutch. Still, she's a Spanish woman. Highly good respect. She does. But she is now at a stage where she speaks Dutch, not in a fluent, like Shanu told, in fully business
No,
level.
but that's a Spanish bank now.
Exactly. But still at a Dutch level. It's in a Dutch country, right? It's in Dutch lands. Spanish bank in Dutch lands. Still needs to speak Dutch, catch up on Dutch. So that's how it goes.
But
Look,
do
you cannot-
do you see yourself becoming the CEO of the same bank?
If I learn those attributes, if I
मतलब
scale up as well,
चलो let's say
Dutch
you
will,
learn
will speaking a Dutch be a barrier for you
It
to
will
not
be.
become a CEO?
I already see
or
myself
or
being a
Spanish
barrier.
or Spanish for that matter.
Okay, let's
Any foreign language.
in a Dutch, in a Spanish bank, of course, it's a bit of a barrier not speaking Spanish as well. Okay, let's leave Spanish bank besides. But if I consider any, for example, say let's say an American company or any company which has a neutral language, English. Let's consider English to be a neutral language, although it's not a neutral language in Europe. But these days, English is a neutral language to communicate across each and every
Correct. Most
region,
of
and
the-
right. And then, if I am looking up to a company, indeed I would have to learn Dutch to make progress for sure.
So then,
Super
I mean, so maybe I don't know if it's a yes or no answer, but do you see yourself becoming the CEO in the next 10 or let's say 15 years with whatever skill set that you have? So maybe let me put the question in a different way. Can an Indian become the CEO of a Spanish bank in a Dutch country?
I mean, I would love to be myself there as well, and I do see myself. I mean, why not? But yeah, indeed, it's a bit difficult. but-
क्योंकि बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती हैं ना, मतलब एक कल्चरल वो भी आ जाता है ना कि अब बोर्ड में 5 लोग हैं. आई एम जस्ट सेइंग, राइट, लेट्स से इट्स एन इंडियन कंपनी, लेट्स से इट्स माय कंपनी, राइट. हमारे कंपनी में 5 लोग हैं, लेट्स से बोर्ड में 4 इंडियन है, 5वां डच है. वो आउट ऑफ प्लेस अपने आप ही फील करने लगेंगे, राइट.
करेंगे. Super relevant. But
So same the alternative would also.
but people respect talent over here. At the same time, cultural differences के साथ corporate life में कहीं भी, if you have the talent and you're willing to put all the efforts inside. So like he said, like Shanu said, कि Dutch सीख रहे हो, local work ethics
कर रहे हो.
relevant कर रहे हो, push नहीं कर रहे हो, you're not micromanaging people around being a manager yourself, which is, I don't know, the thing in India or not. But again, language, you're having the genuine leadership skills, they would give you the scope. They would give you the scope, I think so.
And I think small examples, like in my current employer, they did a
So when you are, I think, in the leadership positions and all, I think most of the time we won't be sitting behind our laptops doing coding or making
obviously.
models. So they organized an event in which they invited. It was a social event for the underprivileged here in Netherlands, in which they were actually teaching the kids about finance as a topic, and they invited the Queen of the Netherlands as a guest speaker. So I would, and the CEO and the CEO of our company was also present there. So I don't think so. The conversations there were going in English, and the one more event in which in my previous employer, in which they were doing a christening of their vessel. So it's like when you buy a new machine in India, or we do a puja. So here also they bought a new vessel and they do a christening ceremony in which they invited the daughter of the king and the queen of the Netherlands. So I again don't imagine that the entire conversations will be going in English, because so I think if you want to grow up here in the ladder, keeping the corporate environment into account, or maybe even from a startup or a business environment perspective, because most of the clients within the local Dutch economy, or maybe the farmers and all, I think you need to be able to converse in the local language. And I got this lesson back when I actually started doing my internship here, in which I was just an intern, and the small team of, or the finance team, it was small, let's say 6-7 people, had their bi-yearly team development meeting, in which most of the people were working in KLM for a very long time, and few joined recently, and I was an international as an intern. But they told me that I think it's better for you to skip that meeting, because this is more for team development and all. And I think though people know English, they are able to speak, but they will be more open and able to express their feelings in the local language.
बेसिक है ना यार, मतलब हम
Exactly.
हम कहते हैं ना वो, मतलब विद ऑल ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट, हम वो कहते हैं ना वो जो हिंदी में कुछ गालियाँ होती हैं, उसका मजा हिंदी में ही लेने में आता है. तो आई थिंक इट्स
Exactly.
and in general also,
And I think it's a pros and sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just saying, किसी भी को भी in general अगर heart to heart talk जैसे हम कहते हैं करनी होती है, तो we prefer doing it in our first language, which is Hindi for all of us.
But I think on few things we tend to switch in English. We know what things, but I leave
a
that.
couple of drinks.
I leave that. But so I think continuing to what Nayan is saying, there are few things. I think Europe as a country is trapped in their own situations. But I think it's, I don't know. I'm no one to say trapped or it's a blessing for them. So for example, if they open up the entire economy by considering English as the language, a lot of dynamics can change, right? So for example, French in France, in German lands, it's difficult to grow. In Netherlands as well, it's super difficult unless you really speak a lot of job opportunities. You cannot. You simply cannot. For example, in Netherlands, more than 90% of the people here speak English. It's the highest
But
number of...
tutti frutti या proper
Fluent.
You can understand them, they can understand you.
Yeah.
It's the highest number of English speaking people across Netherlands. Across Europe.
Europe.
Pardon me. Across Europe. But now look at what he's trying to express and Shanu is trying to express. Ki in order to grow, in order to get a level, again, Dutch comes into play. It's the same.
मतलब to just get the feeling of it, to summarize it, एक upper ceiling आ जाएगी.
Correct.
If you're not a Dutch,
And they're trapped in this own thing. Because if they make communication universal as a key, consider it to be any language. I don't want to say let's consider English because of the UK or like for the English people or something. Okay, let's make French or German if those are right spoken in every country. I'm just considering any random language.
Right.
If they make it universal, then people would tend to focus on learning only that language. For example, if I learn Dutch now, it's only being spoken within the Netherlands. Which is what? Such a less population.
Yep, I think.
And then if I go to Germany, I need to again learn German if I get a new opportunity, and then
I
the
think
same thing
it's
happens.
more to do with
If you make something, do with it. Why you guys are trying to trap? I mean, not you guys are trapped, but you are trapped in your own language thing. That's it.
No, I get your point. I mean, again, at the end of the day, what I feel is it's more of a human psychology. Na? मतलब भाई,
Wait, again, to preserve our own cultures. So I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's a situation.
it is what
it's
it
a
is.
situation.
हाँ, it is what it is, and then I mean, understanding from अभी जितना भी आप लोग बता रहे हो कि it's not going to go away anytime soon.
Oh, for sure, not.
Right? I mean, it's
और
going
वो
to stay.
जब upper ceiling which you are mentioning, वो जब upper ceiling आ जाती है and your top line is, you see certain risks on your top line increasing year by year, especially with the situations happening at the start of the year for the last 2-3 years, and your salaries actually increasing mid-year. तो जब हम एक्चुअली नेट सेविंग्स की बात करते हैं बेस्ड ऑन विच अगर हम अपना जो हम 30-20-50 रूल कर रहे हैं एंड आई थिंक वी हैव हैड सर्टेन कॉन्वर्सेशंस ऑन दैट समटाइम्स वहाँ पे हम लोग ट्रैप्ड फील करते हैं कि यार टॉप लाइन ही नहीं बढ़ रही है तो ये 30% को सस्टेन करना कभी कभार लाइफस्टाइल पे कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर दे
क्योंकि खर्चे बढ़ रहे हैं.
and that's where we go into different paths on exploring whether to stay back, whether to upskill, whether to take the passport, whether to take a PR.
Right. Makes sense. Awesome. I think we've got some really good perspectives. I think I want to quickly end this discussion with something that is a theme for our channel, which is Mission 1CR. Right? So we actually help people in their journey from 0 to 1 CR. We create content for people who are currently in their journey of 0 to 1 CR of financial assets, and especially in India, right? So since you guys have been earning in euros, 1 CR हो गया कि नहीं, ये जल्दी से मेरे को बता दो. In financial assets, real estate you may or may not want it, because again अगर I mean what I'm saying is real estate हम तब consider नहीं करेंगे अगर आप उसमें रह रहे हो, but अगर आप उसमें नहीं रह रहे हैं it's in addition to that, तो then 0 to 1, so 1 CR हो गया कि नहीं, जल्दी से
Definition एक बार फिर से clear कर दो.
1 CR of financial assets in terms of Indian currency.
So you meaning savings, investments,
Mutual funds, stocks,
whatever.
fixed deposits,
We have it. For example, the asset. What we call asset.
financial assets.
और
So
उसकी current value या फिर
current value,
value.
not your invested value. Current value आपने जितना भी invest किया हो, उसकी current value 1 CR हो गई है कि नहीं?
I don't.
You don't. Okay. And this is, I mean, so you have your real estate investments as well?
No.
No. Okay. So your financial assets is still not 1 CR.
No.
Okay. What about you?
not yet.
Not yet.
No,
How
Not
would
yet.
I know?
very far.
I mean, you would also.
No, I'm talking about only yours, not the
नहीं
family.
I'm taking because he oversees all my investments.
No,
so I
no,
was
no,
double
no,
checking.
no,
Not yet.
not yet. No, I don't oversee anything.
Not yet.
Okay, ठीक है. नहीं, but I think I mean, I'm sorry to put you all in that spot.
But Shanu
No,
has.
Shanu has.
Shanu has more than 1 CR.
He's the closest guy.
Yeah, I can understand that. No, but I'm sorry to put you all in
No,
that
no,
spot.
it's fine.
But the point was,
That's why the open
I
conversation.
think we personally believe in this, and especially as I was telling you guys earlier as well, Nalin or मेरी conversations are mostly are never centered around how much we are earning, right? They're mostly centered around how much are we investing every month. And I was telling, I think Shanu, मैं तेरे को तो बता रहा था the other day कि Nalin and I had this unsaid race, not I mean, for lack of better word I'm saying race, but ऐसा कुछ हुआ था, एक वैसे मेरे को बताया था कि इसकी ना 8 लाख रुपए की म्यूचुअल फंड इन्वेस्टमेंट हो गई. दिस बैक व्हेन वी जस्ट स्टार्टेड अर्निंग. एंड तो मैंने कहा शिट यार, मेरी तो सिर्फ 2-2.5 लाख की है, ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? यू नो, वी गॉट इनटू दैट unsaid competition, or not competition,
Yeah, fair enough.
but it was that very healthy way of increasing our investments. So we always have our conversations around हमारा investment portfolio कितना हो गया. And so we as company at Pennywise believe कि वो 1 CR achieve करना in financial assets is actually very important, because then it gives you a lot of confidence in general in life, and then things move on from there further. So I hope you all reach your 1 CR ASAP, and then move on to your 5 and the 10, and then maybe
And then the
hundreds,
compounding game
and
comes
then the
into
hundreds of CRs. But thank you, folks. I hope this was fun for you guys. Maybe I'm gonna, since I am sticking around in Europe for a couple of more weeks, so I'm gonna maybe reach out to each one of you for a little more insights into your personal life.
20% इस महीने का कम रहेगा. Emergency fund निकाला.
Emergency fund निकाला मैंने.
चलो bye.
But yeah, thank you guys.
Chalo, bye bye. Thank you guys.
Good, well done.
Cool, man.
Good conversation.